We're Jimmy and Natalie, and after 3 years of van life, we're building our dream van. And knowing that this is likely the last van we'll ever build adds a lot of pressure. The choices we're making will fundamentally impact how we live and travel for the next few years. At this point, we've hit a fork in the road, and before we can make any more progress on this van, we have to face the big question: what are we gonna do about showers? We have lived on the road in a couple of different ways. We started off with a full fixed shower. We made our 40-gallon tank last 6 days, with both of us showering twice.
Did you just admit how often we shower?
Then we went to having no shower and just doing gyms and Planet Fitnesses and having shower shoes and that whole thing. This was the busiest Planet Fitness I think we've ever gone to. Every single shower was taken. And we decided to go back to having a fixed full shower.
This is a little bit scary because everything up until this point has been reversible for the most part and will be hidden once the rest of the van is built. This week is kind of the first week where we're tackling a project that is not reversible and it's going to be very visible once it's done. So that is something I'm honestly getting over a little bit. I hate making mistakes. I feel like the people close to me would probably call me a perfectionist, even though the things I do in my life are far from perfect.
I mean, look at me.
Well, you're the one exception.
Aw, that's sweet. Aw.
That being said, I feel like the best cure is to just jump into it, which is what we're gonna do. And we're gonna start with installing the shower niche.
Oh, it's moving already.
Wow.
That's actually not even that hard.
That wood glue sucks.
Yeah, screws are definitely worth it.
Nice.
Whoa.
Is there even wood glue on this?
Yeah, that's just peanut butter. I think I mentioned it briefly, but behind the driver's seat is where we're planning on having our full walled-in shower. The shower is going to be 2 feet this way and then 3 feet this way. So for a van, that's pretty spacious. This is where our shower niche is going to go. And then over here is kind of where the toilet's going to be. All right, and Jimmy's going to show.
All right, so you can't see the line on the ground, but it's right here. So this is the wall, so everything this way is the bathroom.
Yeah.
That way.
Pretty big size.
Yeah, not too bad. It's all the way to there to there.
Yeah.
And then we got the pooper right here.
Ah, no, we don't do that. It's
What's it for then?
it's just a chair.
What are you using it for?
I just, when I need quiet time.
Oh my God.
Other than the shower niche, most of the prep work that we need to do before we can start building the shower, pretty much all of these prep work projects have to do with running wires. Jimmy's getting started on running the cables for our DC to DC charger. So he's running those cables from where the van batteries are at the front by like the driver's side feet. And he's gonna run it through where the shower walls are gonna go to the electrical setup that we'll do in a future video.
So this is the cable that we're using to run our DC charger. I'm gonna use the fact that we are gonna have a giant wall right here and pretty much run the cable through here and then just underneath the chair. I usually don't like doing that because I don't like the exposed wire, but we're not gonna be able to see it because we're gonna have a huge wall. All right, is that enough?
I think so. I think Jimmy has learned a lot of really cool new electrical stuff, and I think it's gonna really make this a good van.
Gonna make it a great van. What are you talking about?
A great van. One thing I will say, if you'll indulge me for a second, is just very basically what we're doing. Jimmy's running a positive and negative 4-gauge cable for the power. He's running a D+ line, which is what tells the DC-DC charger that the car is on and that it's okay to start pulling power. And the final one is that LC line, the limiting current line, which again, just reduces the amount of power that's being pulled from the van batteries in case we want to try and limit the strain we're putting on it. That wasn't too bad, right?
Yeah, that was great.
Okay.
I'm not going to hook up this cable quite yet. It's the D+ line, but I do want to go ahead and run it the whole way so that I know that I have enough cable so that it'll be there for when it is time to hook it up. It'll eventually go into one of these pins, but I don't remember which one. So we're just gonna leave it here until it's time. I have finished my wiring diagram because the next thing we're gonna start on is running our AC lights. Since we're going a little bit more aesthetic with this build, we're kind of expecting that the light fixtures we wanna pick out don't come in DC form. So we're gonna go ahead and run the big lines. It's the same kind that you would run in a normal household, but we'll just run it in our van instead. But basically, we're gonna have 5 light bulbs in the front of the van, and they're all gonna eventually connect to our breaker box that is connected to our inverter. I want 2 light switches, which is what I'm showing here. Honestly, I could talk for seriously half an hour on what I drew out here and every little decision that went into it, but that is the short of it. Okay, I don't think my genius plan is working.
Oh no, the spool?
The spool's not working.
Oh no.
I will say though that I'm trying my best to follow all of the NEC guidelines. There's just so much that goes into it, from wire sizes to how many connections you can put into a box to grounding rules and so much more. This is supposed to be our lifelong dream van, so I'm trying my best to make sure it doesn't catch on fire.
We bought these puck lights. They're pretty large. If you're used to seeing puck lights in vans, they're usually about 2 inches in diameter, and this I think is 5. So this is kind of ginormous for what we're used to. But it is gonna give us a lot more light than those little puck lights do. We decided, at my strong suggestion, to get 2 of these. So it's gonna be extremely well lit in there. I really wanted to do that so that we didn't have major shadows. I wanted to have 2 light points so that it's just slightly more dispersed. It might be excessive, but I don't know, it sounded fun.
So this took us a lot longer than we had planned, but I am finally done. The entire front part of the van is totally run now, and it all meets at this one little corner, which is where I'm gonna be putting our batteries later on. All right, I cannot stress this enough. Do not try this at home. I am not an expert, but I am a YouTuber. So, fun, da-da-da.
Whoa.
We got some lights. It's a lot of light.
Yeah, they're pretty bright.
Yeah, I'm glad I have something to show for all this work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to take them down whenever we put up the walls, but.
They look really nice though.
Pretty good.
We are about to start making the cuts to put up our ceiling in the shower area. We're not gonna do the whole ceiling for the whole van just yet. We've got this sheet of 1/8 inch utility panel, and we're about to start cutting.
All right, now push it up.
Okay. There we go. I can support the weight of it if you need to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All 2 pounds,
Yeah.
if that.
If that.
Good job.
Nice.
I know there's some of you watching screaming at the screen that we've forgotten about our Max Air fan.
It does look like that.
We've got a plan, I promise. Nice.
So professional.
Yeah, so professional. Sorry, I'm yelling. So professional.
So professional.
That does look great. Man, so clean.
Hate it?
The rounded corners.
I know.
The craftsmanship.
I'm almost sad we're gonna have to put trim over it.
We don't have to. We have to.
Yeah.
I can see wool. All right.
Not too bad.
Not bad at all. That looks beautiful.
Oh, I am so sweaty right now.
Yes, me too. Ooh.
Looks good, right?
Oh yeah, it looks polished.
There we go.
Nice.
Oh, very nice.
That's it. That's the ceiling, and that's a wall. It's starting to come together and not look like a construction site in here.
Very slowly.
That is well lit. As far as the weird little things we had to account for in the ceiling and walls, obviously the max air fan, the 2 puck lights that are on the ceiling, there's this little octopus of AC cables that are gonna run to some light switches that we're putting up later. I think the last thing is this little plus sign marks where we're gonna cut out our shower niche, but we need to wait for it to come in the mail so that we know exactly what size to make it and what shape to make it.
I know I'm not nearly the first one to do this, but I did want to point out, this helped a lot. I just screwed a piece of scrap wood onto the ground next to where I knew my board would go. So when I'm installing these solo, I can just kick it up against this board and I know it's perfectly where I want it to be, at least on the floor. So I only have to worry about lining it up on the ceiling. Getting these walls level with the rest of the van is such a pain. So my strategy is to loosely screw it in on the back, but I have not screwed in the tops yet, because I still need to make the face frame for it, which is the doorway. And when I do that, I know that my doorway is 3 feet wide because that's how wide my shower is. So I'll create that panel. That panel should be 90 degrees. So when I put it up here, I can still move and tweak my wall on this side, since there's nothing really else on the ceiling that I can make this level with. So hopefully that way it'll be as 90 degrees as possible. Really, I'm just doing my best here. I feel like it's not gonna be perfect, but I'm trying to make it at least close enough to perfect where no one's gonna say anything about it later. So I think we're finally at the time where I need to disclose some part of our design for the van. Specifically, we are going for a Gothic / Victorian / Gothic revival aesthetic in our van, which means we're gonna have lots of arches. I bring this up because I'm about to cut our shower door and I need that to match this aesthetic. I've been doing lots of research into what makes an arch a Gothic arch, and I want to share that with you now. When you break it down, an arch is only 2 things. It is how big your circle is going to be that you trace to make your arch, and where's your center point for that arch. So a really basic one might look like this. You got a wall and another wall, and then you just pick a center point directly in the middle and then trace out a circle, and then boom, you have an arch. What I want to aim for is a Gothic arch, which is usually a 2-centered arch, which means instead of 1 center point, I'll be using 2. So it'll look more like this. I'm gonna choose here and here and have 2 circles. So it'll look more like this. There might be some overlap. And then another one here. Much more Gothic. There's lots of different ways you can do this. This is called an equilateral arch because the distance here and here is the same distance. For this door, I'll be doing something very similar, but instead of choosing here and here as my center points, I'll be choosing here and here. And I get that by, if you break up your line into 4 segments, I'll be choosing the first segment and the last segment. So these are going to be my center points, which will make the arch a little bit less pointy. And I'm only doing that because this is the entrance to our bathroom, and I don't want to be bonking my head on such a narrow arch every time I go in to use it. For the other designs, we'll probably be using this, or maybe even a lancet arch, which is even pointier. Honestly, I'm so excited. This is the very first project that our design is actually going to come through, and you get a little taste of it in the van. So I've got my straightaways measured out, and I've got my lines segmented how I like it. This should help me make my circles. It is a measured out piece of string on a screw. I've got it measured out to be exactly 3/4 the length of my doorway opening. So if I did it right, it should look a little Gothic, which it kind of does.
Hey,
Hey,
brought you something.
do you want to double check my arch before I cut it?
I'd love to.
Oh, I wanted the battery pack.
Oh, okay. That looks immaculate.
Yeah, you can be
Seriously?
honest.
That looks so perfect. Have you mentioned to them why we're doing an arch?
Do you want to repeat it?
We're going with a Victorian Gothic revival theme in this van, which is kind of outlandish, but we're having a lot of fun with it.
So first step is a lot of arches. So it's kind of fun. This is the first project that will actually show what the van's going to look like, at least a little taste of it.
This is not going to be an ultra luxury modern van. I think there's a lot of those out there already, and I'm very interested to see what this is going to be. I'm so excited for it.
I do think it's about to rain, so I don't know if I can cut this today, but we are well on our way to have a completed shower, at least the framing. I don't know if we're going to tile it this video, but we'll see.
I don't know if we're going to tile it at all. We're really just kind of flying blind on some of this.
I'm going to try to get all these cuts done before it starts raining. Let's see if I can do it. This van might actually look kind of good. Wow. That's looking so cool. So today we are installing our shower drain, which means cutting a hole in our floor. All right, let me show you the problem I'm dealing with. So for the hole, I need to drill it so I have enough room for my 1.5-inch gray water pipe that I need to connect to it. But the problem is I've got this extra strut right here taking up a lot of the room underneath the shower, which means I either need to push my drain about 2 feet that way, which I don't have because the shower is only 2 feet wide, or somehow precisely measure it so that the hole ends up in the middle of one of these struts. And so right there is where the hole should be if I've done my math right. It should be lined up with this hole right here, and 5 inches in should put it right there in the middle. I'm pretty sure my measurement lines up with the empty part underneath the van, but just in case, I'm gonna be using a test bit before I move on to the big one where there's no going back. All right, let's go see if I stroke oil. I hope there's no oil. Building out a van gets you such whiplash between the feeling of excitement and the feeling of anxiety that you've done something wrong. Crossing my fingers. Okay, no, there it is. Yeah, it's right there. Cool. It's not a great spot. Since it was a little close to the beam, I'm gonna push it a little bit further towards the passenger seat when I do the big hole. I see the ground. All right, test fit. Yeah, that's great. Love it. This shower floor is going surprisingly smooth. To be honest, I was a little nervous about sloping the floor for the shower, but I think I found a pretty nifty solution. So instead of sloping every corner down into a central drain, I just bought one of these offset 2-foot-long drains that is the exact width of my shower. So instead of sloping 4 edges down to a central point, I can slope one wall just down, down, down to meet up with this trough. So I only need one slope for the whole shower. The slope is pretty dramatic at around 2.5 degrees, but I just wanted to make sure that no matter where we were parked, the water would be able to drain. I've just finished putting down the supports, and the last thing I need to do is actually drop the floor and secure that down. And once that's done, I think I can start waterproofing the entire shower. All right, so the floor is installed and I've got the glue drying. I put up the barrier so that I don't forget and step in it, because I feel like I would do that. And I went ahead and filled in some of the deeper screw holes with more glue so that it doesn't become a problem later when I try to waterproof it. But yeah, after cleaning up for today, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it, and then tomorrow morning, bright and early, I think we can start waterproofing the shower.
I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that this is going to be our first time ever using Redgard in 3 builds. If you're not familiar with it, Redgard is a waterproofing membrane that we're going to basically use like paint, and we're going to paint all the walls and the floor and the ceiling of our shower, and then that's going to make it totally waterproof. I don't know why that got a chef's kiss, that's weird. I'm not sure how much of the shower layout Jimmy has mentioned to you, so I'll just briefly go through it. You can obviously see this cool pointed arch, and that's our entryway. We're gonna have a door on hinges that connects to here. It's gonna swing out this way so that it's not awkwardly blocking off our living space. And then once you step inside, this is a 2 by 3 foot shower. We're gonna have our shower faucet and mixer valves up here. We're gonna have our Nature's Head composting toilet sitting down here, and we're gonna exhaust it through the wall, and then Jimmy's got a plan for that later. Other than that, we've got our shower niche that is a nice black arch shaped niche, and it's gonna go right here. We're gonna figure out later how we're gonna secure our soaps whenever we're driving, but I think that'll be a really nice, neat little way to store our stuff. And best thing about this shower, it's gonna be waterproof, so back to that, I guess. Maybe we should have the shower pink. Doesn't it dry red though?
Yeah, it does. It's like cherry red when it dries.
Wow, bubblegum pink to cherry red. Redgard's an irritant, so you're supposed to like use all the safety gear, but My safety glasses are so scratched up, I like can't see anything, so I'm gonna take them off for just a second. Jimmy's getting started with the Redgard in the corners of the shower first because there's this tape stuff that we're gonna cut out and line the corners with. So basically the order you do for this is you Redgard the corner, tape the corner, and then Redgard the corner and everything else. So you only really need the tape for the corners. Why do you have to do that? It's just
to make it nice and strong.
To make it nice and strong.
I don't think everyone uses the tape, but we're going to because we're going the extra mile.
Dang, okay. We're fancy, so we're using the tape.
I will need this tape pretty soon before this corner dries.
All right, you want me to cut it for you?
Yeah, I think 83 inches should probably be fine.
83 inches, gotcha. Looks like toilet paper.
It does, yeah.
Does it matter if that has wrinkles in it?
I prefer not to have wrinkles in it.
Ah, that sounds tricky.
Yeah, it does, my goodness. I'm redoing that seam because I'm not very happy with how it was turning out. I think I need to use more in the corners so that the tape has more to stick to. So I'm gonna switch to a roller so I can get more on quicker.
If anyone's wondering, the membrane fabric tape that we're using is much more fabric than it is tape. It also cuts like fabric, so having some good scissors has been really helpful. The box cutter was not fun to work with. We got a good little system going though, and I feel like Jimmy's gonna have the shower knocked out in no time. No pressure.
Oh, we're gonna switch off eventually.
Huh? It does look a little bit fun to use the roller, so I'm actually kind of excited to try it. With the fabric membrane tape, it's pretty simple to just go and get it in all the corners where 2 walls meet, but what about where 3 walls meet? Well, we gotta fix. It's really not too bad. What you do is you wanna cut out a square, roughly, and then on one of the 4 sides of the square, you're gonna cut it to the middle, so it'll look kinda like this. Then, to actually use it and put the tape into a corner really cleanly and not have a bunch of bubbles, you just line up one of these edges from the cut onto one of the 3 corners, and then from there you can kind of smooth in a clockwise or counterclockwise, just smooth it out, and then whatever you've got left over can just neatly overlap, and you've got a nice clean corner to waterproof your shower. I'm gonna kind of assembly line a bunch of these because there's a lot of corners in this one. I like this method though because it works really well for different angles and different types of corners. These are not perfect 90-degree angles, but still works to cover it pretty well. So we could waterproof this. This could be our shower pan.
Worked so hard on that shower pan yesterday, and you're making those jokes.
Yours is way better.
Looking good, Nat.
Thanks. Something I should have mentioned earlier is that when you do this, you put the Redgard up and then the tape, and whenever you do the corners, there's going to be a little section where the tape overlaps itself, so you got to go back in and Redgard between the 2 sides of the tape so that they don't peel apart. That is looking pretty good. We got all the corners done, all the edges and seams. We're gonna let this dry while we go get lunch, and then once it's dry, we can start putting a full coat on everything, like all the walls. So that doesn't really look any different. I was expecting it to be like really red.
I think it pretty much already dried when we left.
Yeah, I think it was already dry. But that was supposed to show time passing. We're back from lunch, and now we're gonna Redgard the walls.
Feels so much better to actually make quick progress. I'm on my last wall. Like, it's almost done. So we had a little bit of the tape left over, so I went ahead and put those over all of our screw holes. The Redgard says it can cover an 1/8 inch gap, so we should be good anyway, but it's just basically to be safe. We just finished the first coat. We're planning on doing 2. The bucket has specs of how much you need to use if you're gonna put it on your walls or your floor. So we're trying to follow that as best as we can. There's a good chance we might have to buy a second bucket. I don't know if one was enough, but once this is dry, we'll come back and finish with the second coat. All right, buddy. I don't think you're gonna like what we're about to do here. I think you might wanna leave. Or you can say, watch, that's okay too.
The Redgard is all the way up, and the shower should be totally waterproof. Oh, I don't know why I'm nervous, but we're about to test that with a spray test.
It's only allowed to leak in one spot, and that's the drain that we cut. That's it.
It needs to leak in that one spot.
All right, I'm just gonna put this in here so I don't accidentally spray water into our walls. It's not watertight yet. You guys get it.
There you go.
Thank you. 3,
2, 1.
All right. Oh, you don't like that? I thought so.
Sorry, kitty.
Okay, I was worried about that. You wanna go turn on the water?
Oh.
That was just the leftover pressure.
Ready?
All right, take 2.
Oh.
All right, do this corner.
Ah, yeah.
Can't see anything yet.
Get it all over. It's going through the drain.
Nice.
Good to know the gravity still works.
So is all the water flowing down the slope?
I think because the way we're parked, it's going back and then down.
I will have the drain installed at some point, but I wanted to test to make sure that underneath the drain is still waterproof. And it looks like it is. All right, you wanna do one more test?
What is that?
You're probably right to be nervous. It's working.
There's a lot of dirt
A lot
coming
of dirt
off.
coming off your feet there. Alrighty, well, cool. I think it works.
Just like the real thing.
I think we're gonna do a proper flood test later whenever we get the drain installed. I don't see any leaks on the major seams or nothing.
No, yeah, it looks really solid.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe we will go with some red walls. We'll see.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
It'll look a lot better than this when we're done, I promise.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, a bug like flew down my throat. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh.
Look at those veins, baby. Oh, those are the veins of a hard worker. I stole them.
Oh, that's like a.
Oh, that's probably fine.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh.
You got glasses.
I know. Thank goodness. Oh my god, there's a bug on my arm, but I'm trying to hold still. Sorry. Shaky footage alert.
I couldn't tell if that last one was out of focus. It's like face tracking something right here. That's weird. Oh, there it is again. Oh. Hello? I think we've got a shower ghost. It's too early for ghosts. Oh my gosh. Okay. Creepy. Stop it. There's no one here.